Hey guys, welcome to Movies with Ari. I'm Ari and I'm so excited to review National Treasure. So let's get into it. National Treasure revolves around this character named Ben Gates. Now in the beginning it is shown it's 1974 in Washington DC, and Ben Gates is a young boy being told this story by his grandfather about his ancestor Thomas Gates, who chased after treasure. Now this leads into what's going to happen next and for the rest of the story. This treasure is what the whole movie is about. And now we're in present day with Ben Gates, where they are north of the Arctic Circle. And they're in search for the Charlotte, which is a ship that may hold the treasure or a clue to the treasure or where it would be. Now Ben Gates is with his crew. He's with his best friend Riley, who is very tech savvy. He does all the tech stuff on the backside. And then we also have Ian. Ian is someone that Ben Gates kind of like hired or talked to try to get help looking for the treasure. But as time goes on, you'll see Ian's obviously not this really good guy. And Ian brought in his crew. So these people that are looking for this treasure on the Charlotte. Now, they don't find the treasure, but they do find a clue. And the clue is the legend wit, the stain affected, the key in silence, undetected, 55 an iron pen, Mr. Matlock can't offend. Now, this is a very interesting thing because as he's learning about the clue and what it means, he eventually finds out that it is talking about an invisible map because it's undetected. You can't see it with human eyes. Mr. Matlock was Timothy Matlock, who was the official scribe of the Continental Congress, which led to the answer of it being the Declaration of Independence. So this whole movie revolves around what's on the back of the Declaration of Independence and ultimately this treasure. So one of the guys of the crew, which is Ian, wants to steal it, but Ben is really against this. It's one, in his mind, not possible, and another, shouldn't be done. The Declaration of Independence is obviously important to American history, but this fight over stealing it or not ultimately leads to the Charlotte being blown up by fire and gunpowder. After everything that's happened with the Charlotte, Ben and Riley go to report that the Declaration of Independence will be stolen to the FBI. They also told the Department of Homeland Security, and no one believes them, including Abigail Chase, who is the archivist at the National Archives. So they went to her as a last resort to be like, hey, the Declaration of Independence is going to be stolen. You need to protect it. Help us protect it. And no one believes them because they're like, it can't be done. It's impossible. So after leaving Abigail Chase's office, now Ben wants to steal the Declaration of Independence to protect it from Ian and the people that are trying to take it. So this is an interesting dynamic versus not wanting to steal it, now wanting to steal it, and how it goes. However, for one, you have to be so incredibly smart to do this, and you gotta have a lot of balls, to be honest. Because knowing that you could go to prison is insane. But in the end, he steals it anyways. They find out the map on the back, and it leads to clue after clue to eventually to the treasure. Now, what's really cool about this movie is that there is a lot of facts, but also a lot of fiction in it. Here are some facts of National Treasure. Charles Carroll was the last living signer. This was after John Adams and Thomas Jefferson both had died. So he was last in living. Now second, George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, and Paul Revere were all Masons, and there were several Masons that signed the Declaration of Independence. Third, Timothy Matlock was the scribe of the Declaration of Independence. So this is really important to know too, that these facts, so you actually are learning about history throughout this movie. Number 4, there is a notation on the Declaration of Independence, and the only thing is that it is dated, and it says the original Declaration of Independence dated 4th July 1976. So that is important to know. There is no invisible map, of course, but there is this scribe on the back saying that it is the original document. Number 5, the silence do-good letters. They are real, they do exist. Number 6, this one's actually very fascinating. On the $100 bill, there's an etching of Independence Hall, and the time on the clock tower reveals that it is 2:22. Now, the bill was redesigned in 2009, but the time had changed to 10:30. However, there is no evidence that either of these times were chosen for a specific reason. So, in my mind, in my theory, I'm sure it was chosen for a reason. There has to be a reason. You don't just put a random time like 2:22 or 4:10 or 10:30. Like, I don't know. To me, I feel like there was a reason. I just don't know what that reason is because there's never been specified if there was or wasn't. But this is a very interesting fact. So why would you change the time to 10:30? Now, number 7, Benjamin Franklin actually was the first person to suggest daylight savings. Number 8, Benjamin Franklin also experimented with bifocals. So the bifocals you see in the film, these are actually like things he tried to experiment with and he wanted to know more about. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And finally, number 9, the final expansion of the Crack and Liberty Bell occurred on George Washington's birthday in 1846, and the Continental Bell replaced the Liberty Bell in 1876. So those are some of the fun facts throughout the movie that are actually really true. Now, we do have a lot of fiction throughout the film as well, made to make it an entertaining story. Number 1, there is no map on the back of the Declaration of Independence from the Knights Templars. It doesn't exist. There's no treasure. Number 2, the 55 in iron pen is actually false. It is 56 men that signed the Declaration, not 55. So that's really important to know. Either they messed up or they just felt like 55 just sounded better when they were giving the clue. And number 3 was the last time it was here, it was being signed. It makes for a very dramatic moment, but it is actually false. When in fact, it was bought between Washington, D.C. and Philadelphia in 1846. And then it was put in display in Independence Hall. So the Declaration wasn't signed technically in one place. It was signed in multiple places for the people that signed it. I would rate this movie 4.25. I love how they blur the lines between the fact and the fiction of the story, using history to create an iconic story, taking facts and kind of embellishing them. I think that's very unique. And you also get to learn a lot of history, I think. I definitely learned a lot from this movie, learning about the Declaration of Independence, knowing who signed it, knowing about Timothy Matlock. Like, I didn't know about all of that prior, so I find that very interesting in learning that movies can also teach you things. Even if some of the stuff is embellished, you do learn a lot. I find National Treasure really sparked my interest with history and the stories of the Knights Templars. After this movie, the first time I watched it, I really delved into the Knights Templars, and it was so fun to learn about their history, and as well learning about the history that National Treasure has within this movie. I think it's really special. It has its cheesy moments, of course, but if you love history and want something fun to the extreme theory of what could be, then I think this is a great movie for you. So what did you guys think about this movie? Did you like it more than me? Did you like it less than me? Tell me down in the comments below, as well as please comment any other movies or TV shows y'all want me to be reviewing for you guys. And as always, see you on the next one, guys.